Thank you for taking the time to watch our leadership interview report. My name's Kendall, and I'm working with Josh. So we're gonna get started. The summary of my interview, I interviewed Dr. Sue, who's the Dean of Education and is a DEI committee member at SUNY Fredonia. Dr. Sue was motivated to enhance some of the DEI programs as she is working directly with future education students. So by doing that, she implemented different initiatives and tried to organize different programs related to different cultures. She had numerous challenges, but one of her most difficult one was she had a student, she told me the student's name was Alex, was struggling with mental health. He felt like he didn't really belong. He felt like he didn't belong in the community. And it was actually after pre-COVID, so post-COVID. So there was a lot of mental health things from COVID as well. So she collaborated with different campus organizations to ensure that Alex got all the necessary support that he needed to thrive at Fredonia and hopefully graduate from Fredonia. So that moves me on to my key elements and findings. So with it, interviewing with Dr. Sue, one of the key elements was to hold a leadership approach that blends empathy and decisiveness, and to make sure that you're tackling situations together. It should never be something that you're doing alone. When you work at an institution, especially higher education, you should be making sure to be doing shared decision making. I know in the book in Norhaus, the version 2022 model, it talks about that. And just making sure also that you're being inclusive with all your decisions, making sure you include all your team members, faculty, staff, students, and that you are embracing change. I feel like in today's generation, a lot of people working in higher ed might not fully support change. They're used to what they normally do, but just making sure that you support it, you're there for it, and that brings me to some of my key takeaways from the interview. So I said, according to Dr. Sue, she specified that it's important for future leaders in higher education to prioritize development. You should always be trying to develop yourself, being versatile in what you do, having excellent communication skills and being able to communicate with effectively through planning, whether that's through like, organizing programs, or if it's like administrative management, or, something that's more organizational skills and type of leadership. Just making sure you're always trying to better yourself and always, you know, being able to be flexible. Also from interviewing Dr. Sue, another key takeaway was just staying informed to the latest trends. So that means like, right now I know hybrid and virtual learning is at full effect. Like you need to make sure that, obviously one person can't change, the virtual learning in a school, but maybe that you're pushing for that agenda to kind of get to the top of the list, making it easier and more flexible, and being versatile to students who maybe can't go to school. Maybe students have full-time jobs, so just making sure that you're doing that and being innovative, using different technology or using different online platforms that are going to promote collaboration, promote inclusiveness, and just give students, and us a chance to grow professionally. And then the last takeaway was that, in the Norhaus 2022 model, it talked about inclusion being seen as an aspect of connection between a leader and a follower. So just making sure that, no matter if you're leading something or you're kind of sitting in the back burner, but you're following what the leader's doing, that there's some type of strong sense of like, fitting in. And, if you're a leader, you want to stand out. So just making sure that you have that constant communication and connection. And then professional development. So I feel like this was one of my big takeaways, honestly, because as a future higher education, hopefully administrator, I feel like my journey's just beginning. For me, it's really important to enhance my development, enhance my skills, so I can support upcoming and future students. Especially for me, I'm big into diversity and DEI. So just making sure that I, create inclusive environments that welcomes everyone. Everyone feels accepted. Making sure to be collaborate with campus partners to create strong connections. I feel like there's nothing more vital than that, because if students go to you, they're going to want to, you should be able to provide, even though I don't work in, um, maybe I don't work in campus events, I should be able to give them that pinpoint person that can guide them, to where they want to go or what they want to join or do. And just continuously striving to be for my personal growth. I really want to better myself. That's the whole reason I'm in this program. So I want to gather the necessary tools, learning different approaches to better serve the students, better serve myself, staying student focused, and just ensuring that my values and my aspirations align with, focusing all around the students and having that constant commitment to learning. And hopefully I can make a big impact. And that's what I gathered from Dr. Sue and, just this class as a whole. Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. It was awesome learning about Dr. Sue. So my interviewee for this is going to be Dr. Conrad Shield. They're currently the Dean of Education at Granville State University, and they also just took over the responsibilities as the Dean of Social Work at that school as well. So they're balancing two different roles currently at that university. He just discovered his passion for higher education during his undergrad studies, and pursued a doctorate to further his career in the field, because he loved to learn. That's what one thing he was constantly talking about in the interview is just his passion for learning. Dr. Shield naturally gravitated towards leadership roles in various positions, which eventually led to his current role at Granville. He was in different positions in a local school district where he just kind of built up as a team lead and just kept growing in that role to where he is now at Granville. He emphasized modeling the way and enabling others to act, and challenging the processes as key practices of exemplary leadership, while valuing innovation and attention in detail and staying true to his personal values. That's how he kind of views leadership. And those are some of the things that I will come back to a little bit later. We're good to switch. Some of the key elements and findings. He really highlighted balancing roles and responsibilities. His experience as both dean and a faculty member at Granville State University highlight the challenge of balancing different roles within an organization. He talked a lot about how he has to balance and manage the different roles that he has so he can manage the faculty that he is overseeing as well as on the team for some of them. And he constantly has to just emphasize the importance of just kind of maintaining that delicate balance between those roles. He also talked about exemplifying leadership practices. He really wants to commit to leading the right way and leading in a way to enable others to act, and challenging the different processes to exemplify his dedication to effective leadership practices. He not only just embodies some of those, but he also just practices those himself, and he encourages and empowers others to follow suit. He wants not just himself to grow as an individual, but he wants the people behind him to grow well so that they can grow and step into different roles as well. Some of the key takeaways that I got were leadership through authenticity and consistency. His leadership style really emphasizes authenticity and consistency. He wants people to be able to look at him and be like, oh man, he's the same way through and through. Authentic leadership can develop others through leading from conviction and being genuine. And both those things are things that he tries to strive for and things that we found in Northouse as well, through authentic leadership. He also seeks to empower others, as previously highlighted. He wants to empower others and foster others in a culture of continuous learning. So it's not just him who's striving to learn the best ways on leadership or education. He wants the people around him to grow and feel as though they are able to grow at the same pace as well. So he's actively seeking opportunities to enable his colleagues to act and step out, so that they can grow and excel in whatever role that they are in currently, as well as just balancing the roles and responsibilities. So as previously stated, he's balancing two different things. So he really has to be an adaptive leader because he is constantly having to learn some things like social work, which he didn't get his degree in, or just different leadership avenues. He's constantly having to figure out different ways so that he can lead well with the different things or with the different uncomfortable situations that might come his way. And that's something we also found in Norhouse as well. For professional development, some of the things that I really took away and some of the things that I really strive for and the things that I appreciated were just his authenticity and consistency. I want someone to be able to look at me as a leader and be like, oh man, he's really authentic. He's super genuine and he's super consistent. So the way that I lead, I desire to have that kind of same mentality of being authentic and genuine to serve as an effective leader so that the people around me can see those qualities and hope to emulate them as well. And then patience and delegation. Patience is something I'm constantly trying to live out and constantly trying to just learn as a slight perfectionist and slight just trying to do it all myself. Learning how to delegate and give things to others who might be going at a different pace than I am is super important as a leader because we want other people to be able to grow and thrive in the gifts that they have been given. And so patience and delegation, those were two things that Dr. Shield suggested. He wants to empower others. And so in order to be able to empower others, I must first delegate the roles so that others can shine through. And then continuous learning and growth. I never want to lose the importance of never stopping to learn and asking good questions. And by doing so, I can grow as a leader. So remaining open to new ideas and opportunities for learning, and in doing so will help me navigate the challenges that will come along because it will help me be able to bring others alongside and have others speak into whatever challenges that I might be facing. So those are just three of the different things I strive for and hopefully others, hopefully one day can see in me as well.
Sweet. And that brings us to the compare and contrast. So, we looked at all the similarities between both of our interviewees. And some of the similarities we came up with was that both interviewees were empowered for continuous growth, and, being consistent to what you do, making sure that, you know what you're there for, know what you're gonna strive to do, and you carry through with it, making sure that all the students are, that, you're catering to the students and being empowered and making sure to empower the students and faculty around you. Working, you should be a leader. You should be working with the faculty and students. People should be looking up to you and making sure that you're doing right by them and working with them. And then the last similarity we said is that they both had a desire for higher education and leading up to the higher administrative role. So, everyone starts somewhere, they started somewhere, they really kept persevering through it, developing themselves professionally, socially, networking, and they both got to a role now where they're really making change and empowering future students.
It's awesome. And then some of the differences that we saw was mainly some of the things in the size of their schools. So Granville is a little bit smaller, so they have to focus on tasking committees. And like my interviewee had to focus in on maintaining different roles and balancing those different things. While Fredonia is a little bit of a larger school, it has more independent campus offices that can focus in on different roles, and Dr. Sue wasn't as spread thin or just trying to learn different things like learning education and social work and trying to balance all these things. So that was kind of the main difference. And then one of the other differences that we saw is one interviewee, at least in the interview, focused in on relationships with the students, while one focused in on staff relationships and how to lead in that. Both definitely are great leaders and both definitely focus in on relationships with students. That was just something that we saw in our interviewees, or our interviews with the interviewees. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time out of your day to watch our presentation. We hope you learned something, and we hope y'all can become authentic, genuine, great leaders who are able to pour into the students despite whatever changes that they might come with. So thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.